What if that feeling of being incomplete, that nagging sense that something's missing, isn't actually a problem to be fixed? What if it's not a sign that you're broken, but a quiet invitation to a much deeper journey? We spend so much of our lives trying to add things to ourselves, achievements, relationships, new identities, hoping that one of them will finally be the thing that makes us feel whole. But what if the secret isn't about adding something new? What if it's about uncovering the parts of you that have been there all along, just hidden in the shadows of your own mind? The Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung dedicated his life to this very quest. He called it individuation, a journey of self-realization to become who you truly are. This isn't about becoming perfect, it's about becoming complete. It's a process of integrating every part of yourself, the light and the dark, the known and the unknown, into one authentic being. Now, this journey isn't for the faint of heart. It takes real courage. But the reward is a life lived with a deep, unshakable sense of purpose and self. So if you've ever felt like you're wearing a mask that doesn't quite fit, or that you're somehow split into different pieces, then this is your call to adventure. Let's walk, step by step, through the profound wisdom of Carl Jung's path to becoming whole. Our journey starts with the face we show the world. Jung called this the persona, a word taken from the masks worn by actors in ancient theater. The persona is your social mask. It's the collection of roles you play to navigate society: the good employee, the responsible parent, the fun friend. And this mask isn't a bad thing. It's a necessary tool for getting by in a complicated world. It shields our more vulnerable, true self from judgment and helps us interact with others. The real trouble starts when we mistake the mask for our actual face. When our entire self-worth gets tangled up in the persona's success, the job title, the social status, the perfect online profile, we start to lose touch with who we are underneath. That's where that hollow feeling comes from, that sense of being an imposter in your own life. You can achieve everything your persona ever wanted and still feel empty because the real you has been left behind. The first step on this path is simply to see the difference. It's about consciously admitting that you are not your job, your role, or what other people expect of you. It requires a moment of real self-honesty, where you have to ask yourself, who am I when nobody is watching? Who am I when the applause stops? This question alone creates the space you need to start exploring what's underneath. Once we peek behind the persona, the first thing we're likely to meet is a little dark. Jung called this the shadow. The shadow is the part of our unconscious mind that holds everything we've repressed or disowned about ourselves. It's where we stuff all the traits we consider negative or unacceptable. Our envy, our greed, our anger, our secret desires. Society, our upbringing, and our own ego have taught us to hide these parts away so we can keep our polished persona intact. But here's the thing Jung pointed out. Just because you ignore the shadow doesn't mean it goes away. Instead, it runs around in the dark, quietly sabotaging your life. And when it's not acknowledged, the shadow gets projected onto other people. That arrogance you can't stand in your boss, the laziness you despise in your friend, the selfishness you judge in a relative, often these are just reflections of your own disowned shadow. As Jung famously said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Integrating your shadow isn't about becoming a bad person. It's about becoming a whole person. It's about reclaiming the parts of yourself you've lost. The practical step here is courageous self-reflection. When you have a really strong, negative emotional reaction to someone, pause and ask, what part of this person might also be in me? You could even keep a journal to track these moments of intense judgment because they're like bright neon signs pointing straight to your shadow. This work is tough. It takes real moral effort to admit that you too have the qualities you condemn in others. But here's the secret. The shadow isn't just full of darkness. It's also packed with immense power, creativity, and raw vitality. By facing our shadow, we reclaim all that lost energy. Overwhelming anger, for instance, can be transformed into the strength to set healthy boundaries. This is what Jungians call the apprentice piece of individuation. It's where you prove you're serious about the journey. If you go deeper into the unconscious, past the shadow, you'll find another key figure: the anima in men and the animus in women. The anima is the unconscious feminine aspect within a man, and the animus is the unconscious masculine aspect within a woman. This isn't about conforming to gender stereotypes, but about integrating the opposite energy that our culture has often taught us to suppress. For many men, this means getting in touch with qualities like emotional vulnerability, intuition, and a capacity for deep connection. The inner feminine. For many women, it means integrating qualities like logic, assertiveness, and rational thinking. The inner masculine. When these figures are unconscious, they tend to get projected onto our romantic partners. A man might project his idealized anima onto a woman, falling in love not with a real person, but with a fantasy of his own soul. This almost always leads to disappointment when his partner, being a real human, fails to live up to the impossible ideal. A woman might do the same with her animus, looking for a partner who has the assertiveness she hasn't yet found in herself. Integrating this archetype is what Jung called the masterpiece. It's about taking back those projections and developing those qualities within yourself. A man learns to cultivate his own emotional world instead of expecting a partner to do the feeling for him. A woman learns to access her own assertive power instead of searching for it in someone else. This work leads to much more authentic relationships and a powerful inner balance. It unlocks creativity and acts as a bridge to even deeper layers of the mind. The work here is to pay close attention to your feelings, your daydreams, and the figures that appear in your actual dreams. What do they represent? Gently engaging with these inner figures helps bring their energy into your conscious life. So, as the persona is understood, the shadow is being integrated, and the anima or animus is embraced, something incredible starts to happen. The very center of your personality begins to shift. It moves away from the ego, the part of you that's always trying to run the show, to a much larger, more stable center. Jung called this the self. The self is the archetype of wholeness. It's the organizing principle of your entire psyche, uniting both the conscious and unconscious worlds. It is the totality of who you are, and in many ways, who you were always meant to become. The emergence of the self is the ultimate goal of the journey. It's not really a final destination, but an ongoing process of becoming. In dreams and myths, the self often appears as a unifying symbol, like a mandala, a circle, a wise old guide, or even a divine figure. When it emerges, it brings with it a sense of meaning and a connection to something larger than just yourself. You no longer feel like a fragmented person fighting the world. Instead, you feel like a part of life's flow, able to balance the needs of your inner world with the realities of the outer world. This stage isn't about becoming perfect. It's about being able to hold the paradoxes of life, You can be both strong and vulnerable, rational and emotional, flawed and whole. The self allows you to hold these opposing truths without feeling like you're being torn apart. This journey of individuation isn't just a theory, it's a living, daily practice. Jung offered some practical ways to build a bridge between your conscious and unconscious minds. First, there's dream work. Dreams are the uncensored language of your unconscious. You can start simply by keeping a dream journal by your bed. The moment you wake up, write down whatever you can remember without judging or analyzing it. Over time, you'll start to see patterns, recurring figures, and symbols that reveal what's going on inside. A second tool is active imagination. This is a powerful way to have a conscious conversation with the figures in your unconscious. You can start by getting into a quiet, meditative state and inviting an image from a dream or a strong feeling to come forward. Then, you let a dialogue happen. Ask the figure what it wants, what its purpose is. The key is to not control it, but to listen with an open mind, as if you were talking to a real person. This practice brings unconscious material into the light, so it can be integrated. Finally, there's creative work. Expressing your inner world through art, writing, music, dance, anything is a powerful way to integrate it. Jung himself famously drew intricate mandalas to center himself during his own intense period of self-exploration. This isn't about creating a masterpiece for a gallery. It's just about giving form to what feels formless inside you. The path of individuation is really the journey of a lifetime. It's a path back home, to yourself. It's the slow realization that becoming whole doesn't mean getting rid of your flaws or banishing your darkness. It means embracing every single piece of who you are with radical self-acceptance. It's the understanding that your deepest wounds can become your greatest strengths, and that the very parts of you that you fear the most often hold the keys to your freedom. As Jung suggested, when you walk this path, you come to yourself. You become reconciled with who you are, and by doing that, you become reconciled with the world. The aimless wandering starts to fade, replaced by a life of purpose. You stop trying to control every little thing, and instead learn to flow with life, guided by an inner compass that feels true and steady. The journey isn't easy, but it's the most meaningful one you'll ever take. It is the courageous act of becoming the unique, indivisible, and whole person you were always meant to be.